Microsoft is seemingly turning up the heat with the Xbox Series X, and it looks like they're getting a big advantage over the PlayStation 5. This is where RDNA 2 fully pays off for them, it looks like, and this was a heck of an announcement. Everybody was talking about this yesterday, although I will say that it sort of maybe slid under the radar for some people, but it's still huge, and I think that it's a very, very important thing to talk about. Clearly, the Xbox Series X is still coming into its own. That's not to put the PlayStation 5 down. The PlayStation 5 is a serious console. It is a fantastic console. It is a console that does so many things just amazingly well. I just think that the PlayStation 5 is sort of already a little bit more fleshed out than what the Xbox Series X is. So we have that to kind of look at when it comes down to the Xbox Series X versus the PlayStation 5. Both are fantastic. Both are really doing kind of different things. But now this bit of news, this technology is really a forethought, and maybe perhaps why the Xbox is running a little bit behind in terms of when we see comparison videos and things like that. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, I'm Crap Gamer, and this is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from leaving us a like and possibly even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. I really do appreciate it, and if you do spend some free time watching one of my videos, please like the video. It helps the video to be seen, and it helps the channel to grow. So thank you guys. So one of PC's best new technologies, Fidelity FX Super Resolution, is coming to Xbox. They could be set to be gaining a massive upscaling technology finally coming to Xbox. AMD's second generation upscaling technology, Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2.0, is headed to Xbox. Now, this upscaling technology has already done a lot to boost the frame rates on PC at little expense to visual fidelity, but with the upcoming release of the new and improved version, it's also making the jump to console. We want you to be able to port without restriction to any platform of your choice, Colin Riley, Senior Developer Technology Engineer, Corent Technology Group, said during AMD's recent GDC talk, explaining the technology in greater depth. FSR 2.0 is AMD's upcoming upscaling technology on PC and now console. It builds upon FSR 1.0 that is available in games such as Back 4 Blood, God of War, and Deathloop. It's essentially a way to render a game at a lower resolution, bank better performance, but then upscale those frames to look close to, if not as good, as the game if it were running natively with that resolution. And we've talked about this before various times on this channel. Basically, what we saw was, if you guys can remember back to the original PlayStation 5 Epic Games demo, that was running 1440p with something similar to this, but it looked as good as native 4K. And why this is important is because resolution tends to be a bit of a strain on these consoles, and people put too much emphasis on a native resolution. If you can, and what that does is, if you put a native 4K or try to get native 4K, that can affect your frame rates, that can affect your performance, that can affect whether or not you're getting ray tracing, whether or not you're getting some of these other bells and whistles. So if you can use this FSR 2.0 even better, say a 1440p image looks just as good as a native 4K, you could get 60 frames, you can get the ray tracing, you get all the bells and whistles, and not have to worry about some of the nonsense. And I think that's probably where the goodness lie in this, right? Like, that's something to really look forward to. And when they talk about it, and they mention God of War, obviously they're talking about that on PC, which that employed it. So I know a lot of people will kind of bring that up. Well, what about Sony? Doesn't Sony have, you know, this, and this? And I think that it's pretty clear that, you know, I think that they could possibly have this as well, but I don't know to what degree, or if it's a degree as good as what Microsoft has. We'll have to see. Over at GDC, AMD also explained a little more about its upcoming scaling technology and how it works. There was some great information in there of what to expect between all the algorithm chat. For one, FSR 2.0 will improve upon version 1.0 by replacing its spatial algorithm with a temporal one. Similarly, it will also replace TAA anti-aliasing for a smoother image overall, and in a way that AMD says is fast and effective. AMD says FSR 2.0 is not only superior to FSR 1.0, but it will also be faster than some anti-aliasing techniques while delivering impressive anti-aliasing itself. It's incredibly fast, they said. AMD is rolling out new algorithms to deal with FSR's shortcomings too. These include locking thin pixel-wide areas to prevent flickering, and invisible or dim features in very thin in-game features, such as a wire fence. It's also rolling out support for dynamic resolution scaling in HDR that avoids artifacting and keeps the image looking very sharp. Speaking of sharp, there's also a sharpening feature in FSR 2.0, which is going to come as a very big surprise and good news for gamers everywhere. All of this is adding up to be incredible news for Microsoft, and I think a lot of fans are starting to kind of understand what's happening and maybe some of the reasons why there's a little bit performance issues where Xbox Series X is concerned. And it's not because it's not powerful or anything like that. It's just that some of these features they've already stated they waited a little bit for, and now they're going to start to get the features that they planned for all along. So I mean, it sucks that it's coming, a year and a half into the console generation, but hey, at least it's coming sooner rather than later. It'll be up to developers themselves to implement FSR 2.0, of course, and GDXK X example will be made available to registered Xbox developers soon. Whether anyone takes up AMD on the offer yet is to be seen, but following AMD's talk over at GDC, it sure sounds like it shouldn't be a big ask to implement FSR 2.0. AMD made it specifically easier for games to support for NVIDIA's competing DLSS technology to implement FSR 2, which might not matter much on console, but aid its rollout on PC massively. It says these games could be made to work with FSR 2.0 in less than 3 days. It also says it shouldn't take too much longer to add FSR 2.0 to games with Unreal Engine 4 or Unreal Engine 5 plugin. Failing either of those, games with decoupled render and display resolutions and that use anti-aliasing should take only a little while longer, followed by games without TAA and those without the prerequisite attributes that make upscaling easier, which AMD says will take up to 4 weeks to sort out for FSR 2.0. So this is really good news. It could deliver serious performance gains on the RDNA 2 powered Xbox consoles. Both the Xbox Series X and S are powered by AMD RDNA 2 GPUs and Ryzen CPUs, as is the PlayStation 5. So you can see this technology make it across the console landscape over time, and who doesn't want more performance with little cost? So it sounds very promising, and while RDNA 2 is cited as running FSR 2 better than other GPU architectures, FSR 2.0 will work cross-platform. AMD says it will work with developers to make sure that any features that slow down or don't work as well as competitors' cards or even older Radeon generations will be disabled to ensure top performance across any graphics cards. It feels like AMD is stepping up its scaling game massively, and we can only hope the end result is impressive as it sounds. So, again, I'm going to link this as well, and you guys are going to be able to check it out. But it was interesting because Radeon tweeted out yesterday that they're announcing that Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2.0 will be fully supported on Xbox and will be available in the new Xbox GDK for registered developers in their upcoming games. So that's something that I think everybody should be pretty excited about, and I still feel like, Xbox is really kind of coming a long way and kind of trotting along with this kind of stuff. And you know what? Listen, like I said, I'm not some super tech person, but this does sound, and I can figure it out. Like, this kind of stuff really does help performance, and it really does help in massive ways when it comes to any kind of issues and things like that, and especially with games looking good but not taking that hit on native resolution, which is kind of pointless anyway. So with that being said, like I said, I'm going to link this. Look in the description below. You can check it out. Read it for yourself. It's actually not too difficult to understand. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it or it helped you out. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Crap gamer out.